My belief, it was August of 1985. You know, I was a country boy. You know, I was never afraid of the dark, so going out and running down a country road at night didn't bother me at all. I left my house, it was probably a little after 9, and it had just gotten dark. But it was a very clear night. I mean, it was really clear, visibility was good. So I made it down the State Route 19, and I was on my way back. I got this weird feeling. It's this kind of feeling that you know something's wrong, you know something's watching you, and I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything, I didn't see anything. As I was about to start running again, in the cornfield, I see the corn start moving. Whatever it was really big, because a lot of corn was moving. I mean, a lot of corn was moving. And then all of a sudden it stopped. And I thought, wow, that's strange. And so I said, well, I'm gonna get out of here. So I take off running. And when I took off running, whatever was in the corn takes off running too. But this thing started running with me. And when I say it started running with me, it was pacing me. And it kind of freaked me out, so I stopped. And when I stopped, it stopped. So I stood there, and as I stood there staring at the corn, I mean, not a single stalk moved. I mean, it was perfectly just still. So, and when I took off, it takes off simultaneously. And it's pacing me. And I start running faster, and it starts running faster. I realize this thing's stalking me. Whatever's in the corn. When I get to Route 4 and I turn left to go home, I'm gonna run right into it. I'm gonna intersect with it. And one of my best friends who lived just down the road from me, he was to the right. So I made up my mind I was just going to stay on the road. And when I get to Route 4, I'm gonna cut right, and I'm gonna run to his house. So I realized that as I'm going to get there, I'm gonna run out of corn. So whatever's in this corn is going to come out before I actually get to Route 4. So I told myself, don't look. I'm coming to the end of the corn. And I looked. I couldn't help myself. I could not help myself. And that's when I saw it. This thing emerges from the corn, and it was about 6 feet tall, because that's how tall the corn was. And it had the head of a dog, high pointed ears, and its shoulders were rolled and its arms were long. And I remember it just turned its head like this and looked at me. I saw its head, I saw the ears, and the only frame of reference that I had was it looked just like the Egyptian god Anubis. That's the best way I could describe it. Or anything like that. But I saw its torso, but when it turned and looked at me, it just looked like it had this massive chest. So I take off across Route 4. So I'm gunning it as fast as I can. This thing has dropped to all fours and is chasing me. As I'm getting closer to my buddy's house, I knew that they had an in-ground pool, and they had a fence around, a chain link fence. So I jump and I throw my feet up, like in the air, like the old Fallsbury flop, high jump. I land in like a stumbling motion, and I just dive headfirst into the pool. And I'm blowing out my breath, and I'm going down, and I can still feel it sliding down, because the pool was 10 feet deep. And I'm sliding down, I blow all the air out, and I get to the bottom, and I somehow pinch my nose, and I look up, and I'm fully expecting to see this thing with the rolled shoulders and the dog head and the big chest sitting on the side of the pool. But it seemed like a long time I was on the bottom of the pool, and I'm looking up, and I'm looking up, and I don't see anything. So I'm like, oh, thank God. I climb up out of the pool, and I run, and I rip that door open. I slam the door, and I remember screaming, turn the lights out, turn the lights out. And he has no idea what's going on. So we turn the lights out, and I'm just looking out the windows, thinking, is this thing out there?